Dublin City is located on the east coast of Ireland and has a coastline and 3 major rivers. Floods are a natural event, and the city has suffered major flooding in the past in areas close to the Dodder, the Liffey, the Tolka and the sea. The Strategy and Actions for Flood Emergency Risk Management project has resulted in enhancing the management of flood risk to the city.
We're working very hard in Dublin to make Dublin a safer city. And in terms of SAFER, the acronym SAFER stands for Strategies and Actions for Flood Emergency Risk Management. And the acronym SAFER was coined as part of an Interreg-funded project. The project involved 4 European countries working in collaboration together: Dublin, Germany, Switzerland and Scotland. And the intention was to make sure that we each had a methodology to deal with flood risk management. To the SAFER project, Dublin City Council brought its experience on flood emergency response management. To the project, the Germans brought their unparalleled experience in flood mapping. And also from Germany and Scotland, we brought the experience of building flood partnerships. Our fourth partner, the Swiss, with the Federal Office of Water and Geology in Lausanne and the University of Lausanne, brought their experience of erosion mapping.
Here in Ireland, the SAFER project has contributed to interagency flood guidance and protocols developed by the Department of the Environment and the Office of Public Works. Dublin City Council manages the city's flood threat by incorporating the SAFER principles with the internationally accepted 5-stage paradigm for emergency management. Floods can threaten Dublin from a number of sources: fluvial, pluvial and coastal. There are a number of areas in the city where flooding has occurred in the past. An example would be the coastal flooding, which occurred in February 2002. The SAFER project has enhanced our level of information on flood threat in Dublin. Flood hazard maps for Dublin have been developed which identify vulnerable areas and enable us to effect mitigation to control and manage flood threat. The most catastrophic flood impact for the city would be a combination of coastal flooding and the overtopping of the dam at Bohernabrina to the west of the city.
Here at Bohernabrina, Dublin City Council manages 2 reservoirs, the upper and the lower. The upper reservoir contains about 1,600 million litres of water, and it sits behind a dam that is 22 metres high. The lower reservoir is a bit smaller, it holds about 700 million litres of water, and the dam in that case is about 17 metres high. The doomsday scenario here would involve the failure of the upper dam for any reason, because it would lead to a consequent failure of the lower dam and the passage of about 2,300 million litres of water down the Dodder Valley to areas of the city in and around Rathfarnham, Donnybrook, Ballsbridge, as far as the sea at Sandymount. In the recent past, Dublin City Council has just completed the widening and deepening of the spillways you see here behind me in order to mitigate the risk and to reduce the possibility of dam failure. We are now in a position to be able to pass the probable maximum flood around the reservoirs rather than into the reservoirs, thereby endangering the dam.
The Drainage Division of Dublin City Council is at the forefront of flood mitigation by managing the storm water systems in the city. Structural engineering solutions are also being implemented as part of the mitigation process. An example of a structural solution is the work being undertaken at Spencer Dock, adjacent to the Liffey estuary.
We're standing in the bottom of the Sea Lock at the mouth of the Royal Canal in Dublin. Behind me you can see the cofferdam that was built in 2005 to defend against flooding similar to that happened in 2002. Since that time, and as part of these works, we're installing a permanent set of gates at the mouth of the canal that will both defend against flooding and reopen navigation to the canal.
A system of flood control on the River Tolka has been implemented as a result of the combined work of Dublin City Council and the Office of Public Works. To prevent the river overtopping, embankments have been put in place and walls along the river have been raised. Flap valves were fitted, weirs lowered, channels widened and bridges raised. Working with the Irish Met Office, the SAFER team in Dublin have developed tools for forecasting the potential of coastal flooding.
Prior to 2002, Dublin was not seen as a city with a major risk from coastal flooding. The events of 2002 proved this to be otherwise, and since then we've developed 2 flood forecasting and monitoring systems. Tidewatch is based on 5-day weather forecasts from which the surge can be predicted and then added to the expected astrotide, and that gives a reliable forecast of what can be expected on any particular tide. The other system, which was developed in the last 2 years, called Triton, uses automated predictions and automated models of the system in and around Dublin, and that gives detailed weather forecast and tidal forecast in and around the bay. This operates on a 36-hour prediction horizon and has the advantage that it can